Yep. And the fact that I can't promote you to a panelist is a little bit curious.
Join. Wonder what happened if I click on the other one that says join or stay as attendee.
Please don't. All right, so we are just going through that technical stuff, Edward. We will be up and running with this webinar just in a moment. It looks like you get to be the lucky person that we take care of. So any questions you have, we will be answering them directly to you.
The screen looks a lot better today too. Did you notice? Like it's not, I don't know, we had maybe it was an older version.
It's possible, yeah. Should probably turn my camera on, shouldn't I?
There you are.
Hi. All right, so we'll just give it a minute or so and see if anybody else shows up. For now, this will be us going over the 4 things you'll want to know after you set up Top Producer X. And technical problems. I love being a technician when we run into technical problems.
And it's not a Top Producer X thing we're having technical problems with, like Zoom.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll get that one fixed up. So we're just at 10 o'clock, so we'll introduce ourselves. Let me adjust my camera. I had it down for a bit. So I'm Glenn. I'm one of the senior tier 2 specialists here at Top Producer. I've been with the company for a good almost 6 years. I've gone through helping with everything. It seems to be that I've seen every little problem and any little issue, so I'm here to help. And then we got Heather. So go ahead and introduce yourself, Heather. I want to read what Edward's typed in here because I want to take a look at what's going on.
Thanks, Glenn. I'm Heather. I'm fairly new to the company. I've been here almost a year now, and I'm an onboarding specialist. So if you're ever wanting that one-on-one, very similar to what we're doing here, but the one-on-one, you get just myself or one of our other onboarding specialists, and we can help set you up with Top Producer X and guide you through it and make sure you're getting the best use of it.
Perfect. So now I'm seeing Edward says when texting, the text does not always send. The tab reads invalid phone number. I contacted customer care for a resolution and then the resolution number. The problem was identified as a phone numbers has periods between numbers. I did not use periods when entering my phone numbers. This represents the my phone numbers from the old CRM were exported over to Top Producer. There was a conversion. Please review and correct. Okay. That is the first I've heard of that one. So I will actually be looking into that myself because now I'm curious. So we'll definitely take a look at that one for you, Edward. And I am sorry that that's happening. It is something that I hadn't actually noticed as an issue. So we will see what we can do to get that corrected. So thank you for bringing that up. I appreciate it. I mean, this is basically your show. No, wait, we've got somebody else that's shown up. We've got Erin Lynn Ruck as well. And I sure hope I just said your first and last name right. So yeah, we'll definitely look into that issue for you, Edward. I'm sorry that you're getting that. So since we got a couple of you, let's go into 4 things you want to know after you set up Top Producer X. So before we begin, as always, our sessions are interactive. I don't know why we still have this YouTube thing in here because we don't stream to YouTube anymore. But down in the bottom of the Zoom bar, there's a button that says chat. Go ahead and click on that and you can type and chat to us and we will be able to assist you. And as I'll be doing most of the talking, well, fair bit of the talking.
Yeah, I'll jump in here to there.
Yep. Heather will be looking at the questions in the chat and she'll answer quicker than me unless I get there first. And then the competition has begun to see which one of us is faster. So game on, Heather.
Let's do this, Glenn.
Awesome. Okay. So one of the most important things, and I know we tell this all the time, is we are here to help. We want to help you. We want to make sure you're successful. We want to make sure your usage of Top Producer goes flawlessly or as flawlessly as computers can go. With that said, every now and then you do need some help. So down at the bottom of all of our Top Producer programs, And also on our support.topproducer.com website, we do have access to our top producer support team through our chat. If you click on that anytime between 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, you should be able to get connected to one of our chat representatives within a minute most of the time. We also, for things that aren't quite as time sensitive or urgent, you can always email us at support@topproducer.com. Those are usually answered within 24 to 48 hours. Now, keep in mind, if something is of a nature that we can't answer over chat or email, please know that our team is here to give you a call and assist you on that. Definitely there to help, definitely there to make your situation easier to deal with and to avoid any situations that aren't. So today we're going to go over 4 little simple, easy things. At least to me, they're simple and easy, but they will actually make your life more productive and fluid in the day-to-day. So we'll go over how to organize your contacts using statuses and types, how to simplify database management with a follow-up coach, how to easily communicate with your clients when the texting is working properly, as I can assume Edward's thinking, and also how to record details and schedule tasks. So again, any questions you have, let us know, shout it out in the chat. And like I said, Heather and I are going to see who's faster.
This is my favorite part about showing you guys Top Producer X. It's actually getting in there and really using it and doing the organization, which I'm big on. So
yes, it's a great contrast here. Heather is super organized and I am organized chaos, or just chaos depending on the day. So this is why you've got 2 examples of people who are different mentalities on how to use it and how this software can actually help get everybody in line doing the same thing.
absolutely.
I honestly at times want to use Top Producer to organize my real life and my day-to-day work. I don't know how. I'm still looking for a way to do that. But let's just say you've got new leads all the time coming in. You're getting leads from your referrals. You're getting leads from outside vendors.
Your website.
Yeah, exactly. You've got active buyers or sellers right now, and even your past clients. With pipeline statuses and contact types, this is going to provide structure and flexibility. And yes, I'm reading a little bit of the stuff there on the bottom just because it's easier at times, because then I don't have to use my own words because I trip over them. But these things here are designed to make your life so much easier. So with that, I'm going to jump over to my top producer and we'll highlight these right here at the top. So you'll notice, fortunately, I don't have any new contacts. I don't know if that's fortunate or unfortunate. What do you think?
Well, this is good though. I mean, your new tab should either be empty or very few in here, because that means you're keeping on top of your contacts. You don't want anyone, to me, I think you shouldn't be having anyone sit in the new, because that means no one's reached out to them yet.
Exactly. And that's perfect. So when you reach out for the first time, you're going to want to use this tab here, the engage one. Engage means you've had that first contact, first chance of talking with them and starting to get a feel of whether or not you're going to be able to work with them or if they're going to want to work with you. Now, I did need to reset that, but we'll just do that. Once you've actually done that initial meet and greet and determined whether or not you're going to be working with them or not, that's when the next 2 tabs here come into play. Active is going to be your most viewed tab, obviously. Well, I say obviously. What do you think, Heather? Should that be the most viewed?
Well, I think that'll be the most, that's the one you want to aim for, because that's going to be the one that makes you the money.
Exactly.
Your active is your customers that you're currently working with. Maybe you're helping them sell their house, helping them buy a new one. And then future is, yeah, they're just not really in the market right now, maybe a future customer. So obviously that's not going to make you any money right now. So yes, active, I would say, would likely be your, the tab that you're going to be in the most.
Yeah, absolutely. And the advantage to that is now you can put your efforts and even marketing dollars towards the people that are actively trying to buy or sell. Future, let's say somebody says, I am thinking about it, but probably not for 6 months to a year. you can still be actively reaching out to them, but not as much as you would to somebody who's ready to sell now.
Mhm.
That way you keep yourself front of mind to them so they know this is the agent I want to work with when I'm ready to work.
Also, just make sure that when you put them in the future tab and they say, I am thinking about it, but maybe not for 6 months from now, make sure that you add a task to follow up with them in 6 months from now.
Exactly. And even a contact type so that you know to catch up with them again in the future. And that's something we will go over, is the different ways to use your contact types. And of course, the big one, the end of it, you've gone through the whole process. You've run the 5,000 miles to help a client and they're closed. You're happy. Everybody's happy. You now put them over here so they can be part of your future information and your future connections, future contacts, and future engagement. That way you can reach out to them and say, yeah, we closed this, but now you can actually take a look at it and this is what I'm still doing. And hey, this is what's going on in your market. So if you ever do decide to sell again, let me know.
Yeah, and I think you'll know too, once you're working with these buyers, like maybe they're buying just to flip it and resell. Maybe they're buying it because this might be their forever home, or they're living there temporarily for a few years. So that'll kind of get you knowing like what kind of tap or what kind of plan to put them on and when to reach out to them again. Because you obviously don't want to bug people that like they're going to be settled here for a little while. You don't want to keep bugging them often with follow-ups, but you can do that for customers that are likely going to be selling again in the near future.
Absolutely. That if you know somebody's maybe they've got a 5-year contract somewhere, that would be somebody that you would alter and in about 5 years check with if they're still under contract or if they're moving. So you might be able to help them out with that. Or the family's growing or the family is shrinking because the kids have gone off to college and now they're no longer the kids, or the young adults. So
sorry, I was just going to say here too, with using the CRM, this is the great thing about using this, is that you can put those little details in here. So, like, kind of like what they moved to the area for, or maybe they've always been from this area, or maybe they're a military family up and they're moving. Like there's all these different, like everyone's got a different story, right? So you put these little details into your customers' information, like under notes or wherever you want to keep that. And that kind of keeps it makes them think, like when you're reaching out to them and you're bringing up this little bit of information, they're thinking, wow, this person like is doing their homework and they're really interested in me and making sure I get the best for my money. And so, that you want to do that, right? Because these people are relying on you to sell them the biggest investment they've ever had, or purchase or sell.
Exactly. And one of the ways to do that is with contact types. I love how we can segue into these things, So I'm going to use one of my engaged contacts here that you can obviously tell it was an interesting day considering their first name is Test and last name is Patience. So yeah. So we will sit here and look at this. And this contact, I haven't done anything except signed it to one of my other agents, but they're engaged. I haven't really done anything with them. So let's say I was able to talk to them and found out that they have specific criteria, like we're over just above Washington State in British Columbia, but in Washington, you have the head company or the head offices for, say, Amazon and Microsoft. So let's say this person tells me all of a sudden they're an Amazon employee or on an Amazon contract. I can put Amazon contract as a contact type. So now I can actually figure out who all is with those specific contracts and how long they're going to be there. I could also put in 5-year plan. So they're only here for 5 years presently. You'll notice I'm not just doing it as one, because I might have more clients that are Amazon contract, but they might only be 3 or maybe a 10-year plan. And these are hypotheticals. I don't know how Amazon does these things. We're not affiliated with Amazon. I'm just using their name as a first thought that came to mind. So these are things you can do. Now, you could also, and if you don't like these, if you want to remove them from the contact, you just click the X. So let's use a more real world example. Military family.
That's me.
Yeah.
Well, I grew up military, so I know that, we tend to, or we did at least in the past, tend to get up and move every 3 to 5 years. There's still many families that do that in the military, depending, and again, the states would be different from Canada, but depending on maybe what trade you're in or where you're posted to. But the thing is when you're dealing with a military family, the likelihood is that you're going to be, if you're helping them buy their home, it's very likely that within a few years they're going to be selling again. So this is a great way to keep that contact type and kind of keep on top of them. So that way, when you help them purchase their home, that you're the one there in a few years to help them sell that home as well.
Exactly. So that's one of the reasons why you want to use contact types. So we can go, let's say military family, and then specifically we'll choose, since about 2 hours south of us is a Navy base. So we'll say it's a military family and then add Navy. That way you can keep track of who you're working with, what branch of the military they're with, and you can have it set up so you can find people that are just, say, in the Navy. And this has come to mind because I have helped a few agents who specialized in military relocation, plus Heather being a Army brat, as we like to call it, or sometimes just brat, but that's beside the point.
Well, I was. I mean, I'm older now and out on my own, but yes, I did grow up as a military kid.
Yeah. So we do have that. So that's why we come to these ideas. So now I've made these changes. I've added these 2 contact types. So now let's say I've actually helped this person move into their family now. So we would either put them as closed because we're finished, or actually, yeah, we'll put them as closed. I was going to say future, but I prefer closed. Now that they're moved in, we can have them as part of our closed team. And we can then say they've got everything taken care of. And now they're going to be part of our follow-up for closed environment. Wow, I can't speak. For closed contacts. Boy. Okay, so we'll just save that up. It'll have those 2. So now you'll see it's going to show here military, family, and Navy. So here's another reason why these contact types are so valuable. If I were to be looking at this and want to think, hey, who else do I have that's in the Navy? If I click on it, it does a search automatically. So far, it's just my patients that is in the Navy, and nobody else is there.
But if you're in the area of the people that work in the Navy, then likelihood you might have 10 or 20 other contacts in here that you can contact.
So yeah, if you know somebody who may not be the part of the teams that get deployed, or part of the groups that are often moving around, like more of the administrative staff, I would still put them under Navy because they may be long-term, but they may also get a promotion or make a change. So knowing who's in the area and in what form and what, wow, okay, sorry, I'm going to try that again. Who's in the area and how they relate to how you're doing things is how you're going to do this. And this will help keep it organized a lot better. Totally blooper reel there, wasn't that, Heather?
We'll get there.
One day. I'll learn how to talk one day. So far, those are a couple of the easy ones to do, easy ways to figure things out. Through my rambling and forgetting how to use proper words in the English language, do you have any questions out there? Because I'd love to assist and maybe have another chance to explain what I said properly. If not, we'll get on to the next topic here. But I do hope that you can see, even through my bumbling of that, how valuable these statuses and how valuable contact types are going to be.
And if I could just throw out there, just another way that you can even be more a part of their I'm not gonna say everyday lives, but kind of really put yourself out there that you are interested in them as their contact. You can make up in marketing, you can make up email templates that specifically for military, like whether it's support your troops or And then like if you have 10 people that are listed that are in the Navy, you can send them all a greetings of support your troops or something along those lines. So again, you're really, when it comes to the CRM, whatever you put in is what you're going to get out of it. But you can really make it customizable to you, your business, and the people you're working for.
Absolutely. That's one of the highlights of the system is you always have an opportunity to make updates and changes to make it more you. So we'll go back over here. So that's the statuses and types that'll help keep your business's pipeline going flawlessly. This next one is one that I'm really fond of. It is a very powerful tool that actually will help busy agents, like everyone is, stay in touch, even if they don't think that they're going to be staying in touch. So what I mean by that is if we go back over to Top Producer, we have the follow-up coach. I love that it has the little finger with the string around it. What it's going to do is every day, it's going to automatically give you 5 contacts. So as you can see here, I've got Agnes Myers and all the way over to Wendy Huffman. And none of these names are real. This was done using a fake name generator. So nothing here relates to anybody. So you'll notice it gives me different options. So Agnes is part of my sphere. So because of the fact that they are somebody who could have been referred to from a friend or a relative, it's a good way to keep up to date with that person. And I heard Heather about to say something. I bet you have some valuable insight here to add, don't you?
Well, first thing I would mention here to you and your follow-up coach is just pretend the skip button doesn't exist, because then you're really taking those customers and you're putting them at the back of the list again. You want to make sure that every customer in here is equally as important. And even if it's just following up to update something on their account, or you're actually reaching out to them. But this is a great way to stay organized, be on top of everyone. And too, like if you're like in a say quieter time of the year and you're just not sure who to reach out to, the follow-up coach will always give you 5 people.
Yeah. Now, when Heather says that it puts them to the back, the normal time frame for different folks is your new people will show up in the follow-up coach one day after you get them, just to make sure you're following up. If you do an import, 3 days later. After that, it goes a little bit farther down. Your future people will show up after 90 days, or 90 days. Your sphere of influence will be after 120, and everybody else about 180 days. So if you click skip, you're going to go close to half the year without talking to somebody. Highly recommend not using that unless it's a case you know you don't need to. But if it's somebody that, let's say Agnes here is somebody we don't really need to follow up with for a while. Let's click on the follow-up button anyways. This is where I can actually go in here and say, well, they are part of my sphere of influence, but they're actually not somebody that I should be marketing to because they're a realtor as well now. So you would then change their status. So let's change it over to non-client. This means going forward, Agnes won't show up in my follow-up coach because they're not a client. What I would do though is I'd click on edit contact down here, go down, go to my contact types, and let's add realtor. So now I'll know they're part of my realtor group, which means now that they become a realtor and they're working with me or competing with me, they're not part of my sphere of influence anymore. So here's where this is the thing. You can make any type of update, but just think, if you do this to 5 people a day and only work 300 days of the year, because I know most of you probably work 360 or 365, maybe take Memorial Day, Labor Day, and Christmas Day off, but you're going to be hitting up to 1,500 people a year. You're going to get your voice out there. You're going to update contacts. You're going to have a clean and sleek database that is going to keep you up to date and also keep your contacts up to date, knowing what you do for them. So once you've done all that, you just click on the button here that says Mark Done. We'll just say that we, I know the tasks up here, we could add in an update button or a texting button, but we'll just say I did a call. I called out and found out is now a realtor. No need to mark it to them. Always make sure when you do your wrap up, you do put a note in here. That way you can remind yourself of what you did. Now, let's say it's somebody you're working with, you can schedule yourself a follow-up. Now, I'm not going to do it, or actually I will do it for this one. So let's do a to-do. So we're going to say in about 1 month from now, so we'll say the 6th of February, check on their progress in the business. And there you go. In 1 month, on the 6th of February, it's going to remind me to take a look at that. Okay. This thing always does this. I have got to reset my my account because I've got problems with it. Edward says, review how the contacts links are used, particularly follow up when you get to the section. Okay. So we're just going to mark this one done again. We'll say we'll just do that instead. Like I said, there's issues because I try to break my account all the time. You'll notice here it actually shows my first information there, but this is just my account. I do a lot of QA stuff, so I try to break things. Now, how the contacts links are used. Okay, Edward, if you could give me an actual example of where you want me to go and what you want me to do, I can actually show you that and show it properly and give you the exact info you're looking for. Because when you say contact links, I'm trying to figure out which one that might be. If you wouldn't mind, that way I can give you the best info. Though I'm thinking, okay, let's see here. I've got the name here and I just click on somebody. So I'm going to take Wendy here, Wendy Huffman, click on them, and it just automatically goes to that contact. Now you had mentioned something about contact links. I'm wondering if that means the contact type where I can click on here to go and it just brings up a search of people with that contact type. And you'll see how it's done this. It just does a search like up here. Standard search. And anytime you do a search, oh, doesn't do that one. We'll go back over here, go here, and this is a specialized search. So the links there are going to work so I can just see who's in my data import or who my buyers are if I click on the actual contact type. I hope that's making a little bit more sense there. But when we click on the name here, it does bring it up and it shows us all the information, the dashboard, emails, any important dates, our notes, any properties, and that like. Hopefully that's covered what you're looking for because I want to make sure we get the right info. If you do give me a little bit more feedback on that, I can go through it again for you. But that's one of the ways you're going to clean up. Now, this here, let's say you get through all 5 of these and you have time in the day where you don't have showings or any other meetings with your clients. Just click on refresh list. It'll give you 5 new. You'll notice it just updated the one for me because I hadn't done anything with these 4. I'm gonna break the rules here and hit skip on everybody. I can hear Heather gasp. Yep. So let's just say I've actually completed all 5 of them. I know I'm a horrible human. When I hit refresh list, I now have 5 more to work with. So I hope that helps. We'll jump back over to this and go into the next section. Now, as Heather mentioned before, we have a lot of templates built in, and we also have it so that you can use email templates for email, and we also have texting templates for our friends in the United States. We don't have them here in Canada yet, unfortunately, but we are looking. Hopefully one day we'll be able to have that. But as it is, you can just use an email or a text template, and we'll be able to actually create one or even use the ones we have with a little bit of an update and get the information to our clients that we need. So since you brought it up before, let's go over this, Heather.
The follow-up coach. And actually, so we're going over templates, and as we're bringing this up, I actually kind of wanted to mention this as well. Sorry, did you want to go over Market Snapshot or the templates?
The templates. I just clicked to the template page. I'll go over the template.
Oh, okay, there. Yeah, sorry, we were on the Market Snapshot.
Sorry.
Perfect. So I always suggest before going, this is my recommendation, suggestion is before going over to your plans, is to go through the template library. We have tons of templates already available for you, and you can use them as is. But I do always suggest is clicking on the ones that stand out to you most that you think you would use and customize them. Customize them because you're going to put your own name and your own business into them. Don't keep them as is. It's very generic. It has some great wording in there, which is awesome. Keep that, but underline things, bold them, add pictures, add like, click here to see my website, make it you and make it your business. Because anytime you're sending out an email to anyone, just remember you're sending your business out there. So I think that's it's a great start too. So you're not like starting on this blank page going, oh, what do I want to say? What do I want to say? So we give you something to work with. Now, here's your chance to get creative and make it your own. Also, again, my suggestion, my opinion, I do think it's great to follow up with emails to your customers. But like, kind of like an example, one of my buddies, I grew up with him, went to high school with him, and he's here in town. He's been a realtor for over 20 years now. And he's done it all by like word of mouth. So one thing he does every year, and I think is so neat. So he sold my parents their house 16 years ago. And every year now for 16 years, during fall, he buys a ton of pumpkins and goes to his past clients and drops off pumpkins, which, I mean, how can you forget that, right? So not saying emails are not important. I think they are, but people can easily forget an email. So send out the email, send out the important emails, and make yourself a task, a reminder to buy it doesn't have to be pumpkins, but you get the idea. Make yourself a reminder to do this and to do this little gesture for your contacts, especially your past ones that you want them to remember you. So they'll come back to you.
Absolutely. That's a great point there. I know.
I love the pumpkin story.
I know, that's an awesome story. I love the fact that there's a pumpkin out there. And I guarantee you, all of you, and I know Heather and I do this every day, we look at our email and go, wow, there's a lot there. Is there anything that's important? And we were joking about it yesterday. My personal spam email gets a lot more traction and love than my actual email does.
Again. Yeah. And again, like don't not send out emails. I think you should. I just think you should send out the important ones, and don't send your customers 20 emails a year because it gets a little much. And then that's when they're probably going to say unsubscribe or just delete it without reading it. So you want to send them the important stuff and things that are going to draw their attention. But just reach out to them a couple times, but then give yourself that reminder to maybe it's show up at an event, a lot of your contacts might be, or whatever the case may be. But again, I'm sure all this is being realtors as well.
Yeah, for sure. We just want to, from our experience in working with other realtors around the country, we like to pass information over. If you guys have got a better experience with doing this, let us know. Hopefully we can work that into the future. Absolutely. But as Heather said, you could take one of ours, and I always just go to the Happy Holidays one. You'll notice when you click on one template, you can all of a sudden start jumping through and look at all of them so you can edit them. So I actually took one of them and made a personal copy, which is very little to it. It was a nice to meet you. I just changed it to say greetings, which I say a lot, and then looking forward to working with you. So very simple. Let's say we've got a happy holidays here. We can click on the button, customize the template. So we'll call this happy holidays update. We will keep all the information here, the high contact, the primary name, but I like to put a little bit of fun into it. So let's put a picture in. You just go here, grab my pictures. We'll bring up my favorite, my smiling hippo saying bye. Shrink it up a bit. And then now I can save this as a template. And anytime I want to send this template out to somebody, it will have all this here, including that. So now you'll notice I now have another one here that says update, new, and personal. If I decide I have a newer or updated or better picture to do, I just have to click on this here edit button, and then I can edit the template again. If I just need to get rid of it, you can always throw it in the trash. There's that trash can, Heather.
There we go, in the trash. But and then also too, like when you're updating these emails, just think about something that you would want to read as an email, or if you open an email yourself, does it stand out to you, right? So you may have some ideas, or you may have someone that does them for you. And I think this is a great idea too, like, because if you are sending out emails to multiple people at a time, especially for the holidays, and you want to reach out to as many as you can, that email is already done and saved for you. So it saves you so much time. And also, like when you first get Top Producer X and you're getting it started, it is going to take a little time to put the work into it, but then it's there and it's available for you.
Absolutely. That's the one thing. There is a little bit of work to do at the start to get everything going, but then you've already got it there. You've already done all the heavy lifting, so to say, so you won't have to do it again in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Do you have anything else to follow up on that, Miss Heather?
I think we're good.
All right. Do we have any questions on that? If not, I'm going to jump over to the next item we have, which is recording anniversaries, properties of interest, and more.
I love properties of interest.
Yeah, properties of interest is an interesting one. I've never actually looked at it that way. But one of the things to always do, and one of the key items that we have here that we're going to mention, is our property insights. This is a tool where you can actually, if somebody says, hey, I was looking at this property on the MLS, you can actually attach it to their contact record as a insight into what that client is looking for. So when you're looking and thinking about the different types of comparables they're wanting, they've already given you a perfect example of what they're looking for. You can also make sure you put in those important dates like birthdays, anniversaries, house anniversaries. All the important dates that you need are right there. Your notes, of course, everybody's going to have detailed notes to make sure they're up to date, and tasks, just what you need to do. So I'm going to go back over to a contact. Let's grab that one I just closed. We're going to test my patience again. So right off the bat, important dates. So let's just say I finalized the closure with them a couple of days ago. So we're going to go in here and go house anniversary. We'll choose, we finished it on January 1st. Happy New Year. Here's your new home. I'll put that in, and automatically it's going to tell me on the 1st of January 2024 will be their 1-year anniversary. And I do like how it comes up with this little icon that has a house key. So, and then this is how you keep track of all that. The notes, let's say, whoa, what happened to my screen? That was interesting.
Where's Top Producer? Oh.
So what happened is I clicked on learn more. So there you go, technician fail. I clicked
Okay.
on learn more. So that opened up another page.
And you went to campus.
Yes, we actually want to click the button that says add note. I love it when I get to say technician fail because, you know, even with so many things in here, you start doing so many things by natural and muscle memory. And the fact that I've been with 8i for so long and then moving over to X, I sometimes just click and then realize, whoops. That's why I always tell myself to slow down. But we can add a note here saying sold the house on Jan 1st, 2023. And I can even change it to be a note of that date. And then I just click save notes. And there we go. We have that note. Property insights. Let me see if I can really quickly. While I'm looking for an actual MLS ID, what are your thoughts on property insights, Heather?
Okay, so I love property insights because it's going to keep you organized. So when you're showing, this is for buyers only. So when you're showing your buyers multiple properties, you might even forget, oh, which one did I show them? Or why didn't they like this? Or what did they like? Or so on and so on. So where you click on add insight, this blank page that we're looking at right now, this eventually can become filled with all the properties that you've shown your customer, your buyer. And so then you can also keep track. You'll see once we add one in here. But you can also keep track and little notes on show them they weren't interested, make notes on why they weren't interested, because you're not going to go and show them properties again that's going to be similar to the one they weren't interested in, and so on. So this is why I like it. Again, it's another way for you to keep on top of, and then not only that, when you contact your customer to be like, okay, you know, or they might reach out to you and say, hey, like I saw this property for sale, I might be interested in seeing it. And you can go back to the ones you previously showed them and say, yeah, but you know what, this kind of looks like the one that you just saw the other day and you weren't interested in it, and this is why. But and they're gonna be like, wow, this person's really doing their homework and wants to get me the best for my buck, right? So that's why I like property insights.
Absolutely. And
Am I giving too much information?
no, that was perfect. So now I actually was able to find, I have the Northwest. If I put an MLS ID, I was able to find one here. We do the search. Why is that not found?
Try by address. Did you try by address?
Well, let's try by address. Yes.
If you have it.
Okay, let's try this one instead. No, I do all that searching and then it doesn't work.
So this should populate. So always, yeah, like give it a second here to populate and then make sure you're choosing the right one because it is pulling from your MLS.
Yep, and you'll notice on this specific area, it has a bunch of different ones. So we're just going to grab the one that I can see on the MLS I'm looking at here at number 24. You'll notice it's bringing in the picture and all the information about it, including the price and the MLS ID. So we save the property insight and there you go. It's right there. So now you already have the information about it and you can actually set it here on the side if they've inquired on it, interested in, not interested, even if you've shown it, made an offer or anything. So let's just say this person is interested in that specific property. Now, Edward did have a question. Where do you get the notice of 2024 for the important dates? Well, we get that in two places. Right here, you'll have access on your specific client of all important dates. The other option, over here on the left, you'll see a tasks button. When you click on tasks, we have an important dates tab up here.
And always, when you're coming into Top Producer X, I would always make it just a habit to always go into your tasks button here on the left-hand side.
Absolutely. This here, the tasks is super well organized to make things easier for you. Because first of all, it'll tell you overdue things. So you can see I'm overdue on some of the things I've done in the past. Now, these were just tests, so I didn't really worry about them. But key thought there, never think something should not be worried about. You want to make sure you look at your tasks. Then, of course, you'll see what's up for today. Apparently I don't have anything today. Tomorrow, it's Friday, so that's why that is there. It's a special testing I was doing from stuff that was in Top Producer 8i coming to Top Producer X, showing stuff that I had added prior. This will show me things happening in the next 7 days. So
And it's always good to look ahead because you might have something that needs to be prepared in time, not the day of. So look ahead at your tasks. Maybe you have an open house coming and you have preparation you need to do for it, whatever the case may be. But when you look ahead of time, you're like, oh yeah, I got to do this. Again, it's just, this is what keeps you organized and making sure that you're doing what needs to be done, as long as you're adding those tasks to get done.
Absolutely. And then of course you can always do a custom date range. So I could go back to the 1st of this year out to say May, and it'll show me everything that's going to go through there. A lot of repetitive items. So again, I need to clean this thing up. Does that help, Edward?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I was
important dates. Well, he wanted, so let's go. Well, 2024 notices, I guess that could be any kind of tasks or important dates, but we were going over important dates. So when you click on that tab at the top, important dates, that shows you for all your customers, and you're not just focused on the one because you're not in their contract or in their contact record right now. And again, so you just wanted to have it, like say when you're putting an anniversary or a birthday or anything like that. It does give you the option to have it. What does it say? Does it say yearly, or it says repeat yearly or something like that when you're adding it? Let's go and add a date. Let's go and add a date and see what it says. If we click on add a date.
You have the option.
Yes, repeat annually. Exactly. Yeah. So again, with it being a birthday or an anniversary, that is going to happen every year. So you want it to say repeat annually. Another great way, it doesn't have to be a birthday or anniversary. It could be any kind of important date. So if we go add date, let's type in Paris vacation. Let's do it. And sure, whatever date. And we're unfortunately not going to repeat annually right now. It's just going to be the one time. But I do have a point here, except for the fact that I just came back from Paris. And so we'll check that off and we'll say save date. So no fancy Eiffel Tower came up, but that's okay. Sorry. You get the idea. It's in your important dates. And now you can reach out to this specific contact and be like, have a great vacation. So again, important dates are for you to reach out to your contacts to celebrate whatever they're looking forward to. That's an important date to them. So yes, I just recently got back from Paris. I had an amazing time. But that would be, again, for any of your contacts, and maybe it's their wedding, their honeymoon, they're going on a trip of a lifetime, anything like that is an important date. And this gives you the opportunity to reach out to them, send them that fancy email or pumpkin, whichever, and let them know you're thinking of them. So that way, when they sell their home, they're going to be thinking of you.
Absolutely. The more information you have that allows you to follow up and keep up to date with people and what they're doing, the better it's going to work out, and you're going to stay front of mind with them.
Absolutely.
I love how you can find any opportunity to put that Paris vacation into the conversation.
I know. Gosh, and if you haven't been, you just need to go.
I know Heather is not a travel agent on the side. She's not looking for a little commission.
No, a travel guru.
So those are going to be items that are always going to help you out. And again, the tasks button here on the left, easiest place to find what you're looking for. So we'll go on to the, oh, that was all 4. Huh. What, did I go through 1 too really quick?
So we were on,
yeah, sorry. It just,
oh, there we are. We
I
did
guess
important
dates.
Too
much fun because that went a lot faster than I thought it did.
We did important dates, property. We were kind of still on property insights. Yeah. We explained it, but we're just kind of showing them. So let's go back there very quick.
Back to that person. So we'll go back to property insights. Thank you for keeping me on track.
I try. So here we go. This person is interested. We've already made that drop down that they're interested in it. Now you can make the little notes as to why they are. So you show them 3, 4 more other properties they're also interested in. So now we got to narrow it down. But then again, it can go from the drop down to interested to made an offer. And
Yeah.
this is what I like. Because again, it keeps you in track too. It keeps you, now you can go add your transaction right away. Ta-da! It's like the system just doesn't work for you. Kind of. You still got to put some work in.
But it
But see,
does
a
help.
lot of information is pulled right from the MLS for you.
Yeah. The one thing is we have separated, you do have to do property type yourself because of the fact that different MLSs have different property types. So we weren't able to just have it pull. I'm hoping that in the future we're able to get that standardized. But for now, I'm just going to say, once you do it, you want to make sure you look at property type. This is a single family home. And we'll say we're representing the buyer and it's an active transaction.
And if I can just stop you right here while you're on the transaction and also talking about plans, because this is like where you want to kind of follow up with your customers, keep up to date. When you've started this transaction and you've put in these dates, and just remember that these dates can change, right? So you put in these dates, when you add a transaction plan, so what would that be? Like, what we have, one buyer and under contract?
Yep.
I believe it's one, yeah.
Yep.
So when you add that plan, it's going to go towards the dates on the transaction that you put in here. So again, it's just another way of keeping you organized.
Yeah, and it will always start on the listing date. So even if you're representing a buyer, it's still good to put a listing date of when that property was listed. It also helps you to keep in mind, let's say if something has been on, and I know in this market nowadays, if something's been on the market 3 months, there's probably a lot of stuff going on. It's not as bad as a year and a half ago, whereas if it was on the market for 2 days, there was obviously something wrong with that house. But it is good there, especially then you can say, well, it hasn't sold in X amount, so maybe we can get a better price. So always go by listing date, even if you're helping a buyer. And any of these dates, they're fluid. So if you were to attach a plan to it that did follow on this specific dates here, if you have to make changes to those specific dates, the plan will update for you.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, transactions are a little bit more of a advanced item. We could always do up a webinar about that in the future. Just that's depends on people's requests, but we do have a video about that on our campus.
I'm on it.
Ha! Thank you. So once you get it all done, you just click on add transaction. And now that transaction is already ready, and any types of reports you want for this, you can just go ahead and create a new that shows the transaction details and tasks and all the parties associated. You'll notice it set me up as the buyer's agent right off and the contact as the primary buyer. It'll be able to be found in your transactions here, but also if I go back to the contact, you'll see I can just jump back and forth by clicking on the name. Here we go. Here's that transaction.
Awesome.
So I hope that's making sense and get everybody going, because I know it is, again, I like to say it is a lot of setup to begin, but these things will start becoming so standard to you that you'll notice Heather was having to remind me to do things because it just, my brain would have gone to that eventually, but by actually having her remind me, it reminded me to explain it properly. So you'll get to the same point, but if you do need specific one-on-one training, we offer that through what we call our concierge or premium onboarding.
And I do help with one-on-one training myself, and there's a couple of us, and I do think it's a really great program that we offer, because some people really need to get that one-on-one and ask your own questions. And we do like a Zoom like this, but I'd be having a Zoom with you and we're speaking to each other versus just coming through as a text. So
yeah, exactly. And she's on that one, the Zoom actually lets her show off her camera, so you get to see the absolutely enthusiastic Heather in person, basically.
Yeah, I'm a happy person most of the time.
So, Edward, you wonder how we'll communicate on the question you asked at the top of the show. I'm going to look into that and I will reach out to you either by phone or email as I look into what's going on with that. If I do have to send it up to our research and development team, I will make sure they get that. I've already made a note of that question and your name, just so that I can follow up on that without any problems. Because the last thing I want for you to have is problems. So yeah, I'll reach out on that. Now, are there any other questions folks have? You prefer phone? Okay, I will see if I can reach out to you via phone, or if I have to get somebody else to reach out from a higher up level, I definitely will, but we will do what we can for you. That is an interesting one. I really want to investigate that actually, now that you've brought that one up. And let's see, when texting, you can't text because it says there's periods between numbers on the contacts. Yeah, that's a very interesting one. I'll get that looked into for you. I'll get back to you. Any other questions for us today? Because if not, we've actually, for the first time in a while, Heather, kept it under 1 hour.
I see that.
I'm kind of in shock myself. So there is a couple of things that we do have access to help you out. We do have our campus, as we call it, at support.topproducer.com. This is where you can get all the quick tips, quick help, and quick assistance that you need. Plus, it has our webinar schedule and previous recordings, which you can find along the top menu bar. And let me just...
We also have a blog.
Yes.
So many different resources available.
And a copy of this video will be up on the YouTube page at youtube.com/topproducersoftware, probably later today. That way you can review it if you have anything, and then you can always ask us questions. And we do have a Facebook user group at facebook.com/group/topproducersoftware.
And if you do reach out to us on the chat, just remember it is live people that you're speaking to. It's not an automated, what do you call it? Automated robot. We're live people. Even though sometimes it might come across that way, it is quicker sometimes to do some copying and pasting, but just remember you're speaking to a real person. So you should always get the answers you're looking for. If we're not able to help you over chat, we will make sure to reach out to you by phone.
Absolutely. And I do like how she, Miss Heather there, emphasized the fact that we are live. Chat may seem impersonal. Obviously, I can understand that phone calls are a staple, but it is still the same team that has always been working here as our support team, who also did the phone calls in the past.
And it also might be more beneficial if you're multitasking. I know for myself, I can ask a quick question, wait for somebody to respond, and maybe be doing something else on the side too. So, I mean, it's not always the worst thing.
That being said, we are looking to see what we can do to get back to what we were very proud of, our very award-winning chats or phone support. We are looking to see if we can get something there. Please don't quote me on that as to a time, but it is something we're looking at. We realize how valuable it is and how a question at that time might be easier to explain via a phone call. So we're going to do what we can for our clients. Of course, lastly, our support at topproducer.com. Again, that's an email that is checked usually within 24 to 48 hours. That way, if you have something that is not critical, something that could wait for a couple of days for an answer, send us an email there. We'll take care of you. But for most things, start off with our chat and we will work with you from there.
Thank you so much.
All right, well, I don't see any other questions. So let me see what my next slide is. It's a blank screen. So that means we're to the end of our presentation. So I thank you all for hanging out with us for the hour. Like I said, this will be uploaded onto, why did I bring that over there? This will be uploaded onto YouTube later today. So you can have a chance to go through it, and any questions, please reach out. For Top Producer, for Top Producer, I have been Glenn and my co-host,
Heather Crozier.
Thanks for your time, folks. Take care, and we'll see you at the next one. Bye for now.